Gee, Steve, what are we going to do tonight?
Same thing we do every podcast. Tell him how we sees it.
Once you kill a man for revenge, there's no going back. A voice in your head sang over and over. That was awesome.
Who are you?
Drebin. Detective Frank Drebin. Thanks.
Here we go. It's How We Sees It, episode 299. This week we're coming to you with an instant reaction for The Naked Gun 2025.
Why aren't we doing a pre-podcast, Noah?
We had technical difficulties. The moron in charge of the equipment screwed it up and had dead batteries. So that guy's fired. He won't be with us anymore. So your new host now. No, I somehow got bad batteries, and the extra set I got were also bad batteries, and yeah, we tried, folks, but now you're just going to get an instant reaction, which gives us a chance to do our cocktails right away, so that's kind of cool.
That's true.
Yeah, we tried, but yeah, we'll just, you wouldn't even know if we didn't tell you. But,
I know. I let the cat out of the bag. Whoops.
That's all right. It's all good. That's what it is. Yeah, so we just got back from watching The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser, Danny Houston, and a few others that really, those were the main. Basically, it's Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson really carry this movie.
Yeah, which was the one you were talking about last week, the big guy.
That's Paul Walter Hauser. He plays Ed Hawkins Jr.
What happened? What were we talking about last week that you?
Because he was in Fantastic Four as the Mole Man.
Oh, you're right. Okay, there we go.
And he's also in Cobra Kai as the Scorpion.
I hadn't seen him in Cobra Kai, but because I only saw the seasons up until where we podcast, which I think it was 3 or 4.
I thought he was in one of the. I thought he was in second season.
Was he?
He comes in. He's the old guy with that Sting, and he comes in.
Maybe I saw a clip of him where he was doing some martial arts in that looked really kind of.
Oh, he's very silly in it.
Okay. And I didn't recognize that scene.
Yeah,
so,
he's very, very comic relief in it, and it works out well. And he plays a great part in it. In all of these, really, he's kind of got a Renaissance thing going for him, I guess. He's just been in a lot of stuff lately, so that's really cool for him. So we went and saw that. We got back. We made our cocktails, and we're going to give them to you right now, because that's what we do here on How We See This, is we make a cocktail to whatever it is we're watching, and I'm looking across the table from Steve, which isn't always the way we do this. It's normally on a screen. So I'm looking at your cocktail, and I'm like, what do we got going on there? So you got to let me know.
Well, this was inspired actually by Police Squad. If you did catch any recording of our pre-podcast, I talked a little bit about Police Squad being my favorite of the Naked Gun ones. That was back in 1982. They released, I think, 6 episodes. One season, it was one and done, and that was it. And there was something about the deadpan humor in there. Leslie Neilson played Frank Drebin, same character from Naked Gun movies. But did we ever cover Airplane? We saw it at Alicia's place, but I don't think we actually covered that on the podcast. But
no, I don't think
Leslie
we did.
Neilson plays a very deadpan character, and but it's much more straight and deadpan, and that's very similar to how he played in Police Squad. All this kind of weird, wacky stuff is going on around him, but in that movie, it's just straight. He plays everything straight. Yeah. That's something that I thought the movies departed from. He got in on the gags. It was a little bit more silly, tongue-in-cheek. But what I wanted to do was make a very sophisticated cocktail, but just dress it up with something a little outrageous, but treat it seriously. So I call this my deadpan martini. Like any martini, you're going to have your gin and your dry vermouth. So I had 2 ounces of an agave gin. a half ounce of dry vermouth. I added a little bit of Amaro, some Fascia Bruto. I've talked about that in the past. The Amaro Gorini. A dash of orange bitters. And I made this nice classic cocktail, but then I garnished it with a very large pickle that's kind of...
Very fitting for the movie, too.
Which I just thought looked silly, and it kind of fit the theme, this idea of a deadpan cocktail, this cocktail that looks very sophisticated, but then has this enormous erection sticking out of it that you can't help but laugh, even though you're supposed to take it very seriously. So anyway, I call this my deadpan martini.
Nice.
That's it.
You know, it's funny. We had to come up with cocktails before we watched the movie, and so it's funny because this actually does, in a way, fit the movie in a way.
Well, in the Naked Gun movie, they have another sequence when he's like crawling outside of a building, and there's a statue that has quite the enormous erection that he ends up actually leaning up against it, and it turns it face up, and then he breaks it off.
Yeah,
and he scares a woman. It looks like he's fighting with this this dildo. And anyway,
no,
but you're right. Here he gets his pants pulled down, and he has his very I don't know. They describe it like it's some majestic object.
The one announcer, who I'm not sure who's supposed to be. He's supposed to be someone, I'm sure. Or he's.
Well, aren't those MMA? Those are legit MMA.
The one guy was.
Okay.
No, the bigger guy in the middle, he was an actual MMA fighter. That's Bisping.
Okay.
And then the other two, I think, are announcers. But they talked to the one guy like he was a fighter, but it is what it is. But yeah, the one guy in the middle is an actual fighter. So I was going through a couple different things, and I actually started off on a tangent of a drink that I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And I was going, and I even had it all figured out, and I was going to do a stuffed beaver. And then I realized it was the wrong movie.
What?
Because it's Airplane that has the
No, it's Naked Gun.
It
nice.
is the first
Beaver,
one.
Yeah, where he's
just had it stuffed.
It's Priscilla Presley going up the stairs to get something. And
so I was going down a rabbit hole with that, and then I went, oh wait, I got the wrong movie, so I changed it up. But I'm really happy with what I ended up with. But I had all these great beaver cocktails that I was going to do. So
they did do a nice reference to the beaver. They had a stuffed beaver when he walked in.
That's what I thought too. I was like, wait, maybe I'm wrong again. Oh, anyways.
Yeah.
Too many good movies, too many things to think about. What I ended up going with, though, I really like, because I was thinking, man, I got to think of something, Police Squad, Naked Gun, was going on. And I saw this one, and I actually stole the name. I made my own cocktail from it, but I stole the name. It's called a Glazed and Confused. Because, I had to go with what cops are all about, and that's coffee and donuts.
Sure.
And so I was thinking right off the top, okay, some kind of White Russian style drink. But with it, I had to search for donuts. I was trying to find a sprinkled donut because I thought a sprinkled donut would be perfect, but I ended up with just a regular glazed, which goes with the name even better. So I started off with I went and got it's called a cold brew, high brew coffee, double espresso. It's just a cold brew in a can kind of thing, but it's a high octane because that's what cops are always drinking coffee. In this movie, coffee is a big joke in it. They're always drinking coffee for like the first 3/4 or probably 2/3 of this movie. There's a coffee joke that's just a running coffee joke. So perfect.
Yeah.
So that's my base. Instead of a coffee liqueur like you would normally do, I wanted high octane coffee like a cop would have. Then I went with a vanilla vodka. So I went with 3 ounces of the cold brew coffee, the double espresso. I went with 2 ounces of vanilla vodka to give it a little bit of a sweetness and kind of get that white Russian going in there, and then topped it off with my favorite, the salted caramel Irish cream. And so that was like, I basically poured the Irish cream in there to fill the cup. So it wasn't really even a top off.
You're going to find this cocktail delicious. I
am.
I can already tell. It's right up your alley.
And then I garnished it with half a glazed donut on top of the glass, and then a couple donuts right next to it. So.
Yeah, check out our pictures because the garnish is really the key ingredient to both of our cocktails, and that's something that needs to be seen. So check out hwsi.podbean.com where we post all of our cocktails, recipes, and the picture.
Yeah, and there'll be a link in the regular if you're on a Spotify or on Apple or wherever. There's a link to the Podbean one so that you can go and check that out.
They have that classic opening in Naked Gun. I think this actually you in our pre-podcast when we thought we were still recording, we were talking a little bit about it. The Police Squad, I was able to track down some highlights, but it's not actually available on any streaming service right now. You can buy the DVD, but it's not something that you can even rent through Amazon streaming or anything.
I wonder if it was on Apple or
but I was able to also watch. So I watched some highlights on YouTube because you can find some highlights, which brought me back to the old days when I was laughing with my dad. But in 80, what was this, 87? I can't remember when the movie came out. But they do that whole sequence with the siren.
Yeah.
Which is straight from Police Squad, but they kind of extend it out a little bit, and of course it ends when he pulls into the donut. When the police pull into the donut,
shop.
their lights and sirens all the way up to the donut door.
Looks like it was 88. I think.
Yeah,
is
and they did a little reprise of that in the credits sequence.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's exactly from it. They just they cut a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think they added some stuff. I didn't see Naked Gun 2.5 or 33 1/3. So right. I don't think I did. But I noticed that there were some sequences like the hockey and the bobsleds. Those might have been sequences that were part from those movies. But I saw all the beginning part was straight out of the first movie.
Yeah, I saw it too when I was looking at that. You can get a Police Squad TV and movie collection. So you basically get all the TV shows and the movies, all three of the movies for like dirt cheap on Amazon, which good for them. That's cool. This was fun. I know I laughed out loud several times, and not at the same time everybody else. I mean, we didn't have a packed theater, but we had some people in there. But there was a couple times I think I might have been the only one that laughed, and that's what this is it's a joke like every 20 seconds, whether you pick it up or not.
Sure, it's gag humor. It's all, absolutely.
And some of them were great, and a lot of throwbacks to some of the older movie, the old TV show and stuff like that. I thought it was done really, really well, and it also like I know when in the original movie, the Frank Drebin, he fights a lot, but it's all kind of like goofy fighting where he looks like he's fighting normal, but it's all ridiculous. Like he just does things that you're like, well, that's not possible. Like they did that with this where he's breaking the guns, he bite the gun in half and breaking stuff all the time. And then the one that really got me was he's doing almost like a John Wick style kind of martial arts, and then they ended up playing patty cake.
That was funny. That was really funny. Yeah, I had a mixed reaction to this because to me, I fell in love with the Police Squad series. And like I said, I only watched the first movie. I was a little bit like, oh, this isn't the same as the series. It got more goofy, slapstick. Yeah. And this movie leaned into that, which I kind of expected it to because that was the movie franchise. Yeah. But I every once in a while when it played things a little bit more serious, like even that patty cake, that was something that when you could just kind of like play it all deadpan. I wasn't as big on the whole guns being broken up, I thought. But again, this is just I think this is just my style of humor that even back in the 80s when I saw the Naked Gun movie, I'm like, this isn't what I remember from Police Squad. So right. Even then my humor was not quite as into that style. So yeah.
I like all of it. That's the thing is I like the slapstick. I like the serious, the jokey joke. But then I also like what you said, the serious, like the behind, like not everybody's going to catch it. The wordplay is a really fun part of this too. Is like that's where you're talking about that deadpan humor.
The deadpan, well, yeah, like or even when something ridiculous happens, like he's driving and then someone gives him a coffee, because that's been happening, and he just takes it like it's nothing. That's something that felt more like the original series, like something that Leslie Neilson, back when he was just playing everything so straight, he could just like take that coffee and you're just like, my God, this is so ridiculous. Yeah. And he's playing it so straight, and that's part of the humor. But again, how much can you, it almost seems like those jokes are going to run out real quick. And so 6 episodes, even in Police Squad, by by the time that the sixth episode came along, it started getting campier and campier.
It's kind of hard to write that much.
It is. You have to kind of lean into the slapstick in order to make it continue.
I like the verbiage ones too. The conversations like take the seat. No, I already have one.
Yeah. Well, that's straight out of the original Police Squad too. Yeah.
And and there's so many of them, and they're really. I was just cracking up. One of the other ones I was gonna do is How About Now, and it was when the guy was is from the original movie where he's like, well, do you know this guy? And he's like, oh, I don't know, and he gives him a 20. Well, how about now? And they end up going back and forth. Like then the guy he's interrogating, he's like, well, what about this? And he's I don't know. Well, how about now? And they
end up giving, and then can you loan it to me? So
I almost did a drink with that. I'm like, oh God, I hope they play an homage to that because it was such a good
They did
scene.
something like that, right? But it wasn't money. It was something else.
It was the bartending scene a little bit.
Oh.
But it didn't go as well. And, it started off like that, but then I was like, oh, here it is. And then it didn't.
Yeah, it turned into him banging his head on the bar.
Yeah.
And every time he pulled it up, it was a different face.
person.
Yeah.
Which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things. I thought the chemistry between Neilson and Anderson was really good, and apparently they're dating now.
They are,
and that it's so crazy. It's like I know that happens a lot in Hollywood. They co-star and then they end up dating. But this is Liam Neeson is 72.
How old is Pamela Anderson?
That I don't know offhand.
She's got to be in her 60s.
Yeah, possibly. No, she's in her 50s.
Okay.
Late 50s, but,
Hey, I'm 55.
You guys are very close
Okay.
to each other. I think she's a little bit older than you. But it just, you don't hear about the older actors having that happen a lot. And I just thought it was really kind of cool that they must have had so much fun together doing this that it just triggered something, like...
or they just found they had chemistry outside of it. I don't know. I don't think a shared love of Naked Gun is actually going to get you.
I didn't mean a shared love of Naked Gun. I mean, just, these people have to have a lot of fun filming this because they're basically filming bloopers and there's bloopers on top of it. So, just watching a blooper reel is so much fun for me usually because you see these people that you normally see in these movies that are so stoic and, like you're like, oh my God. And then they bust up laughing because of something's going on. That's, a blooper. They're actually filming bloopers. So, that the bloopers were probably hilarious.
It's probably tough. I see a lot of those behind the scenes where something's funny and
you can't laugh.
Well, and you're kind of leaning into letting a little bit of improv. And so when someone's improving, they're saying funny stuff, and you
can't do anything.
You're having the one to kind of react to it without straight and stuff like that. And you can ruin a scene and take away someone's performance just by breaking
some of the
character.
Better bloopers, though, is like someone says something and the other person just loses. Saturday Night Live is notorious for stuff like that. With one of the actors like losing their, and they keep going and they're trying not to.
Oh my God! Well, sure. Did you see that Beavis
Yes.
and Butthead
that one? Is so funny.
And that made a character break. I can't remember her name, but she was the commentator in this series, and she was so embarrassed by breaking because she's so. That's something that she's usually just like an oak when it comes to carrying scenes and not breaking character, and she was really kind of embarrassed by that.
Oh, she shouldn't be because America loved it.
But you're right. You're right.
Just say
Sometimes
America,
that stuff is
internet loved it.
hilarious.
I watched that several times and I laughed every time. I mean, I laughed more because of her.
Ron Burgundy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Bo, text us. Okay. Ron Burgundy, he loved always trying to make people break.
It's what is his name? He's the comedian that like you love or hate him.
Well, there's
there's so much.
There's the cowbell scene, which
Elf.
Yeah, I know.
Will Ferrell.
Thank you. Oh, too late. Bo already texted. Let's see.
Yeah, then more cowbell.
Cowbell one. And I think it's Jimmy Kimmel, right? No, Jimmy Fallon, sorry. Whoops. Jimmy Fallon, who busts up laughing.
Yeah.
I always hate Jimmy Fallon. I don't know. I don't enjoy him. And so I always think that he blew that whole scene a little bit. That
I don't think it ruins it.
It's a hilarious sketch, but
Yeah.
I there's some characters I don't like.
Because isn't William Dafoe in that one?
No, it's Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. I was like, it's one of those two.
And he even talks about how that whole sketch drives him crazy because that's what people know him from. When people run into him on the street, he can't get away from it.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean, the guy's like an incredible dancer. He's got these amazing performances. Academy Award nominated performance, I think, for
he
Deer
was in
Hunter.
Joe
I'm not
Dirt.
sure. Yeah.
He played Clem.
Well, I remember when we saw Dune 2, and your
right.
your whole big thing
Oh,
was
it was
like
so
you couldn't
bad.
get away from Christopher Walken, which I mean, because you just catch one little note of
It's
his
his voice.
voice that kind of reminds you of someone that's
I
doing
kept-
a parody of his voice, and it's like you can't look away. It's
I
like,
kept waiting for him to go, "You're talking about my boy all wrong."
all right, so we're way off. We're not talking about Naked Gun.
Well, we're
anymore.
talking about comedies, and that's what this
right.
Naked Gun is.
and making you laugh and stuff. We were talking about the two of them and their relationship, Liam Neeson and
Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is very attractive. I'm sure she's had some plastic surgery done, but it's a very well done plastic surgery that makes her look like she's got some age, which I love. I can't stand
The Botox.
the stuff that
face,
just kind of
yeah.
tries to hide age. And I do think, if she's had some done, I think that stuff does kind of catch up with you a little bit. But
Yeah.
she's gone away from the makeup, and it suits her well. Even in the movie, it seemed like she was wearing a lot less makeup than
Yeah, she
than
does.
normally does.
She's not trying to be the young.
So anyway, I got to hand it to Liam Neeson to
Pull that,
Of
yeah.
course, he's gonna.
I mean, who doesn't? She's great. Now there are some scenes in this that I kind of like lost some steam,
Yeah,
and I was like,
well,
oof.
okay.
Like there was the weekend away in the snow, and they ended up with the snowman. It started off really funny, and then it just it started to drag.
Yeah, so that was an homage to the sequence in Naked Gun when Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley meet, and then they go off and they have this montage sequence, and the montage sequence looks like it's like months and months of them falling in love and all this thing, and then they cut back after the montage and it's like, oh, we had a great day, it turns it into like it was a one. So I think they were kind of trying to do the same sort of thing without pulling the same gag, and they turned it into some horror movie thing.
They turned it into
I thought it
Frosty the
was funny.
Snowman horror movie.
But the whole sex sequence with where they're eating
With
the snowman.
It was weird. Like I thought the beginning of it started off really well, and then the little wish to the snowman I thought was funny, but that's when it turned and it went weird, and I was like, oh, this is not playing well. Like I would have rather seen like the snowman ran off and they had to chase it or something.
But it does seem like the jokes they have this tendency, at least in the movies. I don't think they did this in Police Squad. Police Squad series was just gag after gag. And you say you haven't seen it. I think you should.
I might have seen it.
It's worth checking out at least like the first episode just to get a sense of how straight they play it. But these more extended sequences, it's almost like they're trying to lean into a joke and then take it to 11. Let's just push it and push it and push it and have fun with it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I liked the gag. I did think it went on a little long.
That was one that got me, and then there was another one there was a couple others that I was like, it was going, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is dragging a little.
Well, geez, we just saw the movie. I found it very forgettable. I can't remember the gags. They were funny in the moment. A lot of them were. Some of them were kind of like, whatever. But it was not a very memorable movie. Maybe that's just. But it doesn't have to be. I don't know.
No, I think
sometimes movies are just for.
I think there's
entertainment
several
value.
of them in there that work that were definitely
Yeah.
funny and
Did you spot Priscilla Presley? They had her a little cameo.
I did because it was a quick quick jump to her. Oh, when was it?
It was when they were watching some TV sequence of the whole thing going on with the schlong when it's Liam Neeson
right.
hanging naked on the.
Oh yeah, and she's looking at the TV and goes, "Oh
yeah."
yeah."
And that was a Priscilla Presley cutaway, which
that's cool.
Yeah. It's weird. When we covered Elvis, I think I talked to you about my my sister-in-law became friends with her and her daughter. No, actually, it wasn't Priscilla. It was who's the one that Priscilla's daughter passed away. Elvis and Priscilla's daughter.
I know who you're talking
died,
about.
a couple years ago. But my sister-in-law was actually at the funeral.
Yeah, you were telling us about that during the Elvis one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, okay, that just kind of brings this whole thing down a little bit. But it's kind of weird to see a cameo of someone who's kind of in mourning, because I'm sure she's not doing that great considering her daughter is.
It's been a couple years. I mean,
yeah, right, whatever. Get over.
You hope that they're not just totally in mourning the whole time. Danny Houston played Richard Kane, the big bad guy, and right away I was like, "Who is this motherfucker? I know him from somewhere. He irritates me from something else," and I couldn't pin on. I just couldn't.
Was he like in a Mission Impossible 2 or something like that?
He might have been in that, but what I know him from was.
A good sequence too. I'm sorry, I would have that they did a Mission Impossible sequence that I thought was hilarious. But
he played Stryker in X-Men Wolverine.
You're right. There it is.
And
sure.
I was like, that's where that motherfucker's from. I was like, oh god. I was going back. I'm like, I knew it was. I was figuring it was something Marvel, because I was like, I know this guy irritates me from something, and so that's what it was. He did a pretty good job. He had that scar on his cheek, and I was looking. I'm like, I don't remember that guy having a scar. That was such a funny scene where he pulls it off and changes. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
That was really good. I liked the sequence where they pulled this is actually a scene from Mission Impossible 4 or 5 or one of those where someone is recovering in the hospital and they have Wolf Blitzer on the TV and they do some sort of thing like this happened and they get him to admit something.
Yeah.
And they pull that off in this too, where it shows.
I didn't know that's where that was from.
Yeah, and then of course when the guy finally confesses or says, drops some knowledge, they break the walls down.
Walls down. You got all that?
But then the fact that they did it again and again, that was, I thought, a really good gag.
It worked out really well.
They pulled it off well.
Especially because the other one was like the actor or the builders union at the end was the one.
And it was a Matrix then too. I mean, they did they broke the walls down, and then they broke the walls down again from internal affairs. But then the last one was more like this. You saw the Matrix kind of.
Yeah. It was so good. That was well done. The opening scene everybody gets because that was the trailer, right? We got the little girl that walked in.
Yeah, I did not like that, and I think that's why I wasn't really into this movie. Is because to me that is not Police Squad. That's just leaning into this kind of ridiculous.
That's
idea.
Naked Gun.
Yeah. Well, I even think the original Naked Gun wasn't quite as. It played things. It was starting to lean more into the slapstick, but this idea that here's this Liam Neeson fitting into a child suit. That's not that's not the style of humor that Police Squad was. It's just kind of ridiculous.
Well, Naked
humor.
Gun did that where he had him in different. There's the almost the drink where he's the opera singer, Palazzo. Which then
maybe I didn't see that.
And then he's the umpire, and then there's
the umpire. Sure,
isn't that Enrico Plazo? I almost had a drink off of that, but he did all these things, and so it's just a kind of a nod to him being in the disguise. But when he stands up and he's like, and then I thought that was kind of a John Wick moment, right? He kind of went, all the crazy fighting and taking the guns away and stuff. I thought it was funny. To me, it made me laugh. But it was also one of those you saw all that in the trailer for the most part, so it wasn't as like shocking in the movie.
This is an interesting one for me because I think it probably would have been funnier just if I didn't equate it with the old original Police Squad. And to me, that's almost like throwing a whole thorn into my reaction to this. Is that I somehow want something that was already kind of taken away with the original Naked Gun movies.
Got it.
And so I tried to overlook that when going into this because I knew it was going to be more silly.
You didn't like the scene with the ejection of the magazines and the whole fight with those, and then he ends up sliding down and just hitting all the guys right in the junk.
that was a little crazy. But
I laughed.
I did like when the guy was looking through the window with the binoculars.
Oh God, that was good.
And that was kind of straight out of
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, exactly, where you saw the shadow play.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this guy doing? He's fucking a dog. And
it's just the whole thing. That guy. Did you recognize that guy at all?
I did. He was because we did the winter hockey movie or the Alaska
Mystery Alaska.
Mystery
That's
Alaska.
Tree.
Yeah,
that's
okay. You said Tree during. That's right. Okay.
That's what I know him from. He's been in a lot of other stuff. The guy's in a ton of stuff.
He looks the same.
Yeah.
The guy
just
doesn't
with
age.
White hair.
Yeah.
He does look very similar. Yeah, but that's Kevin Durand. He's in a ton.
Russell Crowe does not look the same.
No, he's been in a ton of stuff though. He was also in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Okay. He played the Fred Dukes or Blob is the character. But yeah,
Blob.
He'll always be Tree to me. It's just something about that character in that movie is just one of my absolute favorites. But he's in so many things. The guy's got a ton of credits. But yeah, I was happy to see him in there. Not a lot of other big name actors that I could tell that I knew of. I mean, there might be other people that saw, different.
Well, they did have a little cameo from Guardians of the Galaxy guy. What's the muscle?
Oh, Batista.
Batista, yeah. He did a little cameo where he was filling in for Frank Drebin when Drebin had to step aside or something.
He's trying to become a real hardcore actor. Like he wants to be serious, and he's also chewing up Ozempic like it's going out of style because he's lost like 100 pounds.
He's done some good serious roles. Well, I remember the Blade Runner sequel.
Okay.
Where he played a very serious role at the beginning. I think he was a replicant, but it was played straight, and I commend his performance in that.
Okay.
So,
I know he did the one where he was in a cabin. There was like a killer thing where he's like...
That was an M. Night Shyamalan movie, wasn't it?
Could be.
Yeah.
I never watched it. I wanted to. I just never got around to it.
I saw that.
He was like one of the main guys in it.
It was okay. It wasn't one of Shyamalan's best, but it wasn't one of his worst either. So
now you probably didn't recognize this guy, but I'm just going off of I know your music types. So the criminal that was being interrogated, it's Busta Rhymes. So he played the bank robber.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. And so I love. He goes, quite a rap sheet. I was like, that's fucking hilarious for one. But then also I was like, yeah, you in here for man's laughter. Must have been a really good joke.
That's true. That's true.
I was like, oh, that's
I think you mean manslaughter.
Yeah.
And that was a good deadpan where it was like, Liam Neeson just kind of looks at the page and then he turns the page and that's it. So
yeah, there were several in there.
I think they tried to mix it a little bit.
Yeah.
They probably knew there were people like me that weren't just going to... I'm not going to stand for just a bunch of silly stuff.
So it was definitely...
And we had Weird Al, too.
Weird Al playing Weird Al.
Yeah.
That was great. Most of the MMA people that were in there are actually MMA fighters.
Crap! I just remembered this because I watched about 3/4 of the Naked Gun original movie. Weird Al was in the original Naked Gun movie. It was Frank Drebin. They came out of a plane, and there's a whole press corps, and he goes up to start speaking to the press corps. Oh, this, and they're like, Frank, it's not for you. And then that's when Weird Al comes out of the plane, and he, that's funny. I didn't even put that together until now.
That's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Lot of good.
So he's a crossover, and of course this does honor the original Frank Drebin because Liam Neeson plays Junior, and they even have. Yeah, it's in the trailer, but there's a sequence where they do make a little nod to O.J. Simpson, which I thought was really funny. Maybe you didn't like it, but I thought it was.
Well, no,
it was
I think it's great because it is exact. Like they're like, we got to do something with OJ, and it's kind of like one of those like we did something, but we also didn't do something, and it just like
It's just enough. I thought. It was
I
good.
love it. Like the wink at the camera. Nah.
No.
It's so good.
I almost thought that the stinger sing at the end was going to have something to do with OJ, but
Oh, geez, that would have been funny.
well, I don't know.
Someone
Maybe they
someone
didn't.
with the Bronco would have been good. You know, the one of the parts in this that really went flat was him being carried by the owl.
Oh my God, it was stupid.
It was. That's what I mean. It was like you guys like. I love the
Let's
fact.
jump in the shark. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great that he saw the owl, and maybe like they could have done something even better, like had the owl shit on a car and go, oh, that's what, or like a tricycle or something that he has to ride, something silly that he had to ride.
But the fact that he had to hold
That's
thing,
what
yeah.
was so stupid.
Yeah.
That was the only him shitting on the other guy was pretty funny.
That would have been the way to do it. Is like the owl takes off and takes a shit on the guy.
Yeah.
Not
And then he
him.
crashes.
That would have been worth it, and that would have been a little nice nod to, because the idea was that this was Leslie Nielsen's kind of dad coming back.
Or even
and,
thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
And he was like that felt like. Although the very end, the fight. Are you ready to fight? One swing, and he punches him in the stomach. He's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Oh, that's so good."
That was good.
That
Yeah.
was like, who punches you in the part of your stomach?
That reminded me of Fight Club. Oh, you punched me in the ear. What the hell? Which apparently that was done, impromptu.
Yeah, that was good. I think this works for a Naked Gun 4, a nod to the originals. Liam Neeson stepping in for Leslie Nielsen.
I didn't even think about the naming.
So apparently, they've been confused for each other. Like when the name, it's in the IMDb stuff trivia. Like Liam Neeson has been confused for Leslie Nielsen at different times. So I thought that was pretty funny. Where was I? I was reading it somewhere in here, and I was like, "That's pretty funny." Oh, here we go. Liam Neeson himself has stated a few times in interviews when people confused his name with Leslie Nielsen. Remember, one of his first times was in 1990 when a grown person asked him something like, "Is your name Leslie Nielsen?" His response, "Close, Liam Neeson." Also, the fact that when Leslie Nielsen died in the late 2010, some media and internet sites mistakenly thought it was Liam Neeson, and one internet post went out and stated that.
That's funny. I thought it was interesting how much they played up, and this is just me in my head kind of playing things, because Liam Neeson lost his wife tragically about 15 years ago in like a skiing accident or something, and she was an actress. She was in are you looking it up?
No.
It's all right. I can't remember her name, but she was in some stuff, and the very opening of this movie was leaning into the fact that Frank Drebin Jr. had lost his wife, and he was recovering, and so I couldn't help but just think of, because I remember just really being blown away when that happened. That was after what's the Christmas movie with Liam Neeson?
Christmas with the Cranks?
No, it's a ensemble cast. The one where they meet at the airport, and it's Love Actually. Love Actually.
I don't know why I thought Christmas with the Cranks.
Love Actually, he plays a character who's lost his wife, and he's raising his son, who's the drummer. But this was before that happened. So, and
That's a little crazy.
so,
Do
yeah.
you think he was putting it in there kind of as an homage to her just in general?
Well, it made me think that. I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm sure it was not something they were like, yeah, let's talk about.
Well, maybe he wants to. Like, I mean, maybe he's at the point in life where it's like, look, it happened. I've lived through it. I've got through it. This is my way of honoring her.
I doubt he would have that much influence on the script at that level, especially for something that.
But it was such a small part of the movie that's not some. They could have put that in there without any real changes to anything.
No, the way it played out, it was very similar to the original Naked Gun when it was a lot of the dialogue. I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, it explains why an older guy would be single.
Yeah. To me, it was just something that was rattling around in my brain and kind of distracting me, thinking.
One of Pamela Anderson's lines was, I write true crime novels off of things.
Based on fiction that I came up with. Yeah,
I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was. That's just clever writing. It's just enough to make you kind of go, huh? Wait, what?
Exactly. There was a couple of those in there that, I think the first half was much more of that for the most part, and then the second half was a little bit more slapsticky.
The funniest thing I remember in the original series, because I watched the original episode of Police Squad with my brother and my dad. Again, I was 12 years old or whatever. This was, I'm assuming, because it was 1982.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, and the humor was just, I had never seen humor like this before. But the most hilarious part was the very ending credits. Was they all kind of, at the end of a typical series, they do a freeze frame and they show the credits.
Yeah.
Right. And so for the Police Squad, that's exactly what they did. They all just kind of went, ha! They kind of broke into a laugh, and then they freeze. And the very first episode, that's all that happened, was they froze. And you're watching the credits and you're realizing they're actually
just frozen
playing.
Yeah.
And we just all lost it. We couldn't stop laughing for the longest time. And that was one of those gags that every episode after that, they kind of tried to play off of it. Like at one point, a criminal ran away, or there was a monkey loose, or things like that. Just kind of create. And in this movie, I'm not sure what they've. I did when I rewatched the Naked Gun movie. I didn't stick. I only watched 2/3, so I don't know what they did at the end of that one. But in this one, they did it the opposite, where everyone froze. But it was just Frank Drebin and Pamela Anderson's character. I can't remember her name, but
Beth.
Where
Davenport.
Everyone actually did freeze except for them. They play froze for about 15 seconds, and then they kind of break out of it, and they realize what's up with everyone. Not only is everyone frozen, but like water and liquid is all frozen too. Yeah. So they feel like they're in the Twilight Zone. That was kind of funny, but it's one of those gags that every time you're faced with trying to replicate it, you have to add some other dimension that loses some of the value of it.
Did you understand her? It was in that credit scenes where she yells, "Wake up, you bitches," or whatever. "Wake up, you piece of shit." Was that from something, or is that just...
I don't know. Was that a Baywatch thing?
I don't
You can't
know.
say bitches in Baywatch. So.
No, it was piece of shit is what it was. But it was like she yelled at someone on the... Like it was another lady, but she yelled, "Wake up, you piece of shit." I was like... That's an odd thing to do.
Maybe she's panicking. Maybe that. No, I mean, I don't know.
It was just such a... Like, it seemed like it was supposed to be there, but I didn't get the joke. That's the other thing is, there's jokes in there that I'm sure I missed. There's things in the background I'm definitely sure we missed.
So with that in mind, would you want to watch it again in order to catch those jokes?
I would.
Yeah,
would.
okay. I don't know.
Totally
I don't think I would. Just it's not. It's.
I think it was in the trivia. It was instead of the protect and serve on the cars, it said warm and serve. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like little shit like that. I'm sure there's.
I know. I would notice things in the background that would make me laugh, but I can't remember them anymore.
Yeah, and that's it. I think these are. I mean, we did the Val Kilmer month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were gonna do Hot Shots, and we never ended up doing it.
Not Top Secret.
Top Secret.
Yeah.
Hot Shots is another.
That's Charlie
spoof.
Sheen.
Yeah, but Top Secret, another one of those movies where it's just like you'll miss half of it the first time you watch it. Monty Python was a lot like that too. You could miss a lot of stuff if you weren't paying attention. If you, in today's days with the phone test,
Well, Monty Python stuff made you think. They actually had those sequences like extreme executive powers mandated by masses.
They did, but they also had just stupid shit in the background.
Oh my
too.
God, yeah. And sometimes it'd make you think, it's like, are they trying to be stupid, or are they trying to be, is there actually
They're
something
trying to be stupid funny.
something going on here that they've tapped into that I need to think about.
Yeah. All in all, if you enjoyed if you're old enough to even know the Naked Gun movies and enjoyed that, or Police Squad, or Airplane, that type of movie, this is right up that spoof alley. That what are they?
I'm going to disagree and say if you
Really?
liked Naked Gun, this is up your alley. But if you were a Police Squad fan that didn't quite think Naked Gun was quite the same caliber, no, this isn't your movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. But yeah, the parody satire slapstick, I thought it hit on all cylinders. Now, granted, this is not going to win awards. It's not that kind of movie. It's not going to go down as like, oh my God. It's not going to be a Monty Python where it's a cult classic type kind of thing. But I don't even think Naked Gun ever got to that point. I think it's a lot of people watched it.
No, I think Naked Gun was inspired because of Police Squad had, again, it was maybe 5 or 6 years after that, but that became kind of a cult
But
classic.
Airplane came out before that,
Yes,
right?
Airplane did.
So I think Airplane...
And that put Leslie Nielsen on the map for that
and then
style
Police
of humor.
Squad came from Airplane.
Probably. That was
And
probably,
then-
they probably cast him because he was so magnificent in Airplane.
But it's that type of movie where it's that... I mean, it goes back to, that's the stuff you watch with your friends when you're a teenager, and you just sit around... For those that do it, partake of the Mary Jane and just sit and laugh at TV, that would have been a perfect type of movie to do that. You get stoned and you laugh at shit like that. Or like the reason I thought that is I thought, oh man, this kind of reminds me of a Cheech and Chong movie where it's just a bunch of silly shit. And so, yeah, it's kind of that. Not to say that that's what I did. I watched them completely sober and still laughed because that's kind of how my brain works. But this is the kind of stuff that you can turn your brain off and just laugh at the silly. If you're going into this looking for some deep, award-winning,
oh shit! I don't think anyone would be going to this movie with that in mind.
You don't know. There's people out there. But if you enjoy these type of movies, I think this one worked. Is it worth going to the theater? That depends on how you value your money. Like if you enjoy a theater experience, I thought this worked. There was one part, sound wise, like if you picked out one kind of thing in a movie that's like made you feel it, sound made you feel it. This had a moment. I don't know if you picked it up.
Was it when she dropped the Kleenex into the
No,
trash?
that was gross too. No, it was when the mood changer went off. It felt like the boom. Like I swear, I felt like it was like, oh shit, that's coming into the theater. Like we're gonna have to fight. What's up?
That kind of begs the question. Right now it's kind of hit and miss on what movies that get made make it to the theater and what don't. And it's rare to see a low budget. Which I mean, this had Liam Neeson, but other than that, it was very low budget.
I think he probably did this without taking a lot of money.
No, but I feel like this movie was sold on this idea that people need some sort of comic relief right now because there's stuff going on in the world. Well, whether you're I think a lot of people are tapped into the political things going on, whether you're leaning one side or the other, or just have to dealing with the kind of the fallout. It's nice to have this stupid comedy that you can just kind of check out of and enjoy. And so I bet that drove its theatrical release. I don't know what goes into theatrical release decisions these days, because it does seem like half the stuff that gets made just doesn't get to the theater. It's like straight to Netflix or straight to Apple.
Yeah.
Or, something.
Box office was made back right away.
Yeah, it did
doubled worldwide, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a success. I don't think they're going to do I don't. I think Liam Neeson already said he wasn't really interested in doing another one.
Well, I heard that part of the reason he wanted to do this is because he can't do the take-ins and the physical stuff that he used to do. He's like, I'm just too old for that shit now. So this was kind of a way to still kind of do some of that, but also do something a little bit different.
I think that's smart because he was kind of going down the route of Bruce Willis when it came to kind of these movies that were getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, but it was sold off of that original Taken movie that he became kind of this older, gruff, macho action star. Atypical action star, not one that was doing it because he had a bunch of muscle, but because he was sharp and he had a way about him, and he got kind of typecast into that. And every year you'd see another Liam Neeson movie, and they would just be,
this is
more and more
crazy.
Forgotten and so he was probably trying to break out of that typecast a bit.
So when you go to IMDb, they give you the top 4 movies that they're known for. What would you consider him known for?
Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Well, Taken, absolutely. Love Actually. Excalibur, maybe. I don't know. What am I missing?
Kinsey? Never even heard of it.
Kinsey, where he has a long dick. Yeah, Kinsey is based off a true story about a man who has a lot. I think it's got Emma Thompson plays his wife.
Okay.
Based on a true story, and the scene I remember is when they go to the doctors because his dick is so big that they don't know what to do about it, and
okay.
But am I right? Is that what is it? What does
I
it
don't
say?
know. I've never seen it. That's why I was like, I don't get this. I don't know it. The other issue.
I feel embarrassed for trying to describe it.
No, well, you're a movie guy, and especially in that was just 2004. You would have been probably watching every movie that came out.
I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schindler's List. I can understand.
Oh God,
that,
Schindler's
right?
List. I feel stupid for not thinking of that.
The
one.
Gray.
Oh, the wolf one.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And the A-Team.
Oh God.
Right? That's what I'm like. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well, that was popular. That was very
Taken-
successful.
Yeah, but it's not better than Taken. Come
Oh,
on.
Taken didn't even show up.
No, that's the top 4, and that's all they should. Come on.
No, Taken. Yeah.
Star Wars. He was Qui-Gon Jinn.
You're right.
Come on, that's a huge
God,
role.
I didn't even think of that. I feel stupid. That's my childhood jam.
Taken or Star Wars?
What interesting with you mentioned Taken because the poster for Naked Gun says it steals from Taken, where it's like, what's his phone call where he says,
"Oh,
I
have a special
set of skills."
Yeah.
Well, that's the line from the poster of Naked Gun. He has a special set of skills, but it's not what you think, or something to that, something stupid like that.
Exactly. Let's see. Look Out Crime. He's fully armed. That's one of them.
Oh.
The one with all the arms.
I swear I saw something.
No, I believe it 100% because that would be perfect. It's kind of funny though. That's IMDb. Sometimes the movies they pull
Qui-Gon
up.
Jinn. I feel stupid. I didn't think of that.
I mean, I knew that.
I pulled out Excalibur and I didn't pull out Star Wars.
But Taken to me is his number. Like if
yes,
you know him, everybody should
absolutely
know him from that because that's just his.
Absolutely, and that's an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Excellent short movie. It's a very short movie.
Speaking of, this is a short movie. This was an hour and 25.
Oh, okay.
And we only got 3
I think that's okay for
previews.
some movies are fine with that. I know I think you were talking about that with the movie we saw last.
Yeah, Fantastic
week.
Four. I think it should have been longer.
You were pissed that it came in under 2 hours, but I guess it depends on the movie itself.
I mean, okay, so you listen to some
style?
people and they talk about, they want that tight 90, and I'm like, I'm paying top dollar. Give me 2 hours plus entertainment. Don't be cheap.
Sure.
Either that or let's start paying on per minute. Like if it's an under 2 hour movie, that shit should be $12. That's not worth 15.
I don't know, but you have to rate it by the minute too. So it's not just quantity; it's quality. So if the pace starts to degrade, then we need a little bit of a refund for those scenes.
That's true, because then we'd get a Schneider cut that they want $40 to watch.
Yeah. So we should all have retribution. We should have the ability to, as we walk out of the theater.
No. I need a $3 back.
I need $3 back.
That shit was bad.
Yeah. Or you owe me.
Yeah. You're going out. No, that was good. Here you go. Here's
and make it legal so that the people that make movies are kind of.
It would
are under obligation. But everyone's different with their taste, though. You and I, we're seeing things a little differently with this movie, and so
no, and I get it. You were much more into the original show,
and I don't like this idea that movies are made to cater to the common denominator. I don't mind that movies are made that like hit a target audience in a way that maybe 60% of the people aren't interested, but it resonates otherwise, because sometimes you get stuff that just gets so diluted in order to reach a wider audience that it
and not only that, but really crap. You can target a certain audience and don't give a damn what the rest of people think, because you're not making it for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. We hear that with some other movies. Well, it's not made for you. Like, okay, I get it. Then don't bitch when this other one's not made for you. So
true,
but we don't get a lot of that. But no, I can see that, and I think we do have that in movies. Not necessarily the ones that are trying to, from big networks that are trying to appease to everybody, but we do get a lot of the independents that maybe are trying to do that. So I'm good with that.
Okay.
This was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't got much else to say really, other than she had a bottom that would make any toilet beg for the brown.
Oh my God, I didn't know what to make of that line. But I will say, Hail Caesars.
Yeah.